Joining me now is Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett. Congressman, I don't know if Jesus Christ was in this meeting, whether he will get the votes to be speaker, but take us in there. What happened? What was the reaction to all of this slate of candidates who basically had their auditions tonight?
Well, thank you, Ms. Phillips. It's a pleasure. Phillip, excuse me. I know it's not plural. Thank you for having me on. And only place I know Jesus it was in that room was in my heart. So as a Southern Baptist, I can say that. But thank you so much for having me on, ma'am. And I don't say that lightly either. I mean, I truly believe that, actually. And the Bible says you deny me before men, I'll deny you for the gates of heaven. And I sure don't want to do that, especially on CNN. But we had a very good meeting. We had 9 men stand up there and offer themselves, I guess, on the sacrificial altar of being speaker, but and 8 emerged. Dan Muser decided not to run, and he called for unity and received a standing ovation. I thought he handled himself very well. And well, we have a very deep bench, and I think we're in very good shape. I think we'll have something will emerge from that this week, and hopefully we can get back to business.
So Matt Gaetz has said that there might be a new speaker by tomorrow night. Do you think that's the case?
I think that's very possible. I don't speak for Matt. He doesn't speak for me, but he knows as well as I do that the 8 gentlemen that are in there, each of them could handle it, and I think each of them could do the job very well. And they're concerned about our fiscal situation. They understand that we're $33 trillion in debt, that we're taking in $5 trillion and spending $7 trillion. We spend $1 trillion a year, if you can imagine that, just on interest alone, and a lot of that goes to our enemy, Communist Chinese. And I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay, Congressman. I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to clarify, though. I mean, you've said just recently that you think that whoever is going to be to get to the floor, obviously they have to get about 217 votes, and they have to come out of the conference with that. I mean, do you think that there was one candidate who came out of this process most likely to get to 217, and if so, who is it?
I think there is, but as you stated, I'm one of the 8 that called for the previous speaker's ouster. So I think that my best strategy would be to endorse the person who I don't like the most and have them fall on their sword, so to speak. So I'm going to keep that between me and them, and my voting will be done tomorrow. But I don't think that would help the cause very much.
This has been going on now for 3 weeks. If there is not a speaker, I mean, don't you think enough is enough here? How chaotic has this been for your party?
I think it would just be a blip, actually. If you ask a kid what happened on September 11th, you ask half of America right now, and they probably would not be able to tell you. I mean,
a lot of your colleagues are saying that they're hearing quite the opposite when they go home. They're hearing that voters think that this is nonsense.
Sure. Well, like I said, but in 2 weeks there'll be something else. I always say there'll be another wreck on the interstate. Not that I want a wreck to happen on the interstate, but something else will happen. I mean, of course, the war in Israel against Hamas, and that'll be the headline. And I'm sure Ukraine and our borders are just overflowing with hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants coming over monthly, and I think that's going to be an issue. I think the issue of the number of people on our terrorist watch list that have come over our southern border, for goodness sakes, is an issue. You used to hear a lot of talk about fentanyl, and nobody's even talking about it now. So
I just want to, because you said something about 9/11 earlier. You're not comparing this situation to 9/11.
No, ma'am, absolutely.
You described it as a blip, but I wouldn't even describe 9/11 as a blip. I just want to give you a chance to.
Well, I'm just saying historically, if you ask kids, ask them what happened on December 7th, 1941, and I would dare say that many people would not be able to answer that. My point is that we do a poor job of remembering history, and this will be one of those things that I don't think anybody will ever. And I would never play down 9/11. I lost a couple of friends in that, so I would never play that down.
I think the other part of this, Congressman, is that this isn't just about history. It's also just about the next 3 to 4 weeks in which Congress has to do some things, including on the war, on the government funding, and none of that has happened or been able to happen in the last 3 weeks because of all of this chaos.
Well, I would submit to you the war just started, and the bill has not come over from the Senate yet, from the president, and we know that $100 billion package is going to have some problems. Only $10 billion of it is actually Well, about 12, I think, billion of it is actually Israel, and the rest is for Ukraine. And hiring more bureaucrats to process folks coming in over our border.
Either way, there's still no speaker. There's nobody who can handle it.
But the bill's not up. The bill has not even come up, and we've been off. Technically, we were supposed to be off even last week, so we were here trying to elect a speaker. But I would say that I would also submit to you, too, the president has already put the Gerald R. Ford Carrier Group, one of the largest in the world, actually, is already in the Mediterranean. 6 other ships are there. The Iron Dome is currently funded, I believe. We send on auto check basically $3.6 billion to Israel every year. They are, according to the briefings that I've got, they are well armed and they're ready to go, and they're gonna take care of business as long as the United States stays out of their way.
All right, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. If there's no speaker, we'll have you back on to explain yourself. Congressman Tim Burchett, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. It's been a pleasure.